Hello, it's the Sinister Gambino here with a new video. And in this video, I'll be making a review and guide on the Insurgent Pickup and Insurgent Pickup Custom for a couple of reasons. Because it's becoming free for December 31st, 2018 if you log in that day. And also because it's still a very vital vehicle even in today's day and age of Grand Theft Auto Online. So to start off, the customizations, there's only 11 options. Unfortunately, none of them are unique. All the customization options are the very basic ones on almost every single vehicle in the game. As for performance of the Insurgent, it gets 19th in terms of lap time and 27th place in terms of top speed. Refer to Bruffy 1322 for the exact numbers for both. As for the pricing of the Insurgent, with a trade price, it is $675,000. And for the Insurgent Pickup, it is $1,350,000 with a trade price. Refer to GTA Wiki for the non-trade prices of both vehicles. As for performance of the Insurgent Pickup, it gets 32nd place in terms of lap time and 31st place in terms of top speed. Once again, for the exact numbers, you will want to refer to Bruffy 1322 along with the miles per hour for it as well for the top speed of the said vehicle. As for the damage resistance of civilian vehicles when you're using the machine gun on the Insurgent Pickup, it is like 5 seconds. As for using on like an armored Kuruma from the same update, the heists update for example, it will take almost double, a little more than double the time, I believe I should say. Pretty good actually, in terms of the damage output, specifically for the Insurgent Pickup. As for the ramming capabilities of the Insurgent Pickup and the Insurgent Pickup Custom, they're all above average. In my personal opinion, they're not anything like the Vigilante, but they're still pretty good for what they offer. As for the damage resistance, the Insurgent and the Insurgent Pickup resist 700 and 900 minigun bullets, as you can see in this clip. As for the rocket launcher, the RPG specifically, damage resistance, the Insurgent and the Insurgent Pickup can, even the Pickup Custom can both take 5, can all take 5. As for the homing missiles, the Insurgent Pickup and Insurgent Pickup Custom all take a whopping total of 14 homing missiles. As for the upgrade price for the Insurgent Pickup is $202,500, but right now it's discounted for $151,875 bucks. As for customization of the Insurgent Pickup Custom, it has 13 normal options with 4 unique options as seen later. For armor plating, there's light, medium, and heavy armor plating. Light and medium plating get rid of the ability to use throwables in the Insurgent Pickup Custom. They are not, unfortunately, really good in damage resistance, but the heavy armor plating gives you really good damage resistance, but you also cannot use any weapons, unfortunately. As for the livery options, there's 20 liveries, and then a none option as well. And then finally, there's 2 different guns, the machine gun as seen in the Insurgent Pickup and the 50 cal minigun. Here's proof of you not being able to use any sort of throwable at all in the Insurgent Pickup Custom with the light and medium armors. As for this clip, we have the proximity mines in action, which work basically the same way as the throwable proximity mines that you have in your weapon wheel. And then finally, the minigun is almost the same. As for the performance of the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom, it places in 16th place in terms of lap time, while for top speed it places in 20th place. Once again, for all the results for lap time and top speed, for the numbers, refer to YouTuber Bruffy1322 for lap times and top speeds. By the way, since the custom version of the Insurgent Pickup was out after Rockstar has created like 2 different ways to implement the armor or vehicles, one being universal and another being something else, I would imagine that having someone inside of the vehicle would allow the Insurgent Pickup Custom specifically to take over 20 homing missiles due to the type of armor it has, but as I'm more of a lone wolf player, did not end up testing that, but I wanted to throw that out there. Also, the differences between the machine gun and the minigun is that the machine gun is more meant for damage output, while the minigun is more for rate of fire. So those are the only differences really from what I understand. Last but not least, I wanted to see how the Insurgent Pickup Custom would do in a contact mission, and to be blunt, it did okay. I expected it to do better, but it was okay. I had to do it with the heavy armor as well. It wasn't really that easy at all with the other armors. But into the most important part of the review and guide, we're concluding with the pros and the cons. So for the Insurgent, and other ones will apply with certain pros and cons, I put cheap for what you get. I only put this for the Insurgent, but there's a similar one for the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom that I put on there. For like 600, even upwards of not even 900,000, you're getting a really good vehicle. Being able to withstand a ton of explosions, and also the suspension on it is pretty good for not getting shot. It can be stored, which is shared with the Insurgent Pickup Custom, being the only vehicle that cannot be stored in terms of the 3 I'm reviewing is the Insurgent Pickup, the non-upgraded one, or the non-customized one. Comes with 100% armor, as you cannot buy armor. Same goes with all of them technically, though you can only see it really for the Insurgent and the Pickup Custom. Comes with bulletproof tires, all of them technically do, but you can't really see the option again for the Insurgent Pickup. It has great ramming abilities, all 3 of the Insurgents do. In my personal opinion, I didn't really notice much of a difference with either of them. It can seat 6 people, and it's the only one that can seat 6 at a max. The Insurgent Pickup and the Insurgent Pickup Custom sit 9 at max. It has great explosion resistance. It applies to all of them, aside from one small exception, with the Insurgent Pickup Custom being able to survive and withstand 5 RPGs, while it can survive 4 and blows up on the 5th, and then it can survive 13 homing missiles, and then getting exploded on the 14th. However, with the Insurgent Pickup Custom, it can technically survive up to 20-ish missiles. So, and that's if someone is inside of it, and that's for homing. And you can use all drive-by weapons with the Insurgent. Same applies with all of them. Except with the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom, if you put any sort of armor on it, you lose the ability to use throwables. And doing the heavy armor, the most expensive and best armor, then you lose the ability to use all your weapons. I only was able to find 2 cons for the Insurgent, the normal one. First one was no bullet resistant windows. I had this with all of them. This is a light armored vehicle, and you're telling me there's no explosive, and you're telling me there's no bullet resistant glass on this? I think they should update all of them with like the glass, like the Cognoscenti armored and all that, as where it can take like 15, I don't know, where it can take like 30-ish or so bullets to the glass. Not really too sure. And specifically for this one, I put the con has a unique map icon, because it doesn't have a weapon on it, and they're gonna mark it just like every other Insurgent. That just doesn't seem right and doesn't seem to make sense to me. Now for the pros for the Insurgent Pickup, like I've said before, it comes with bulletproof tires and has great ramming abilities. It has 3 more seats, like I slightly mentioned. 1 with the gunner and 2 on the truck bed. Great explosive resistance again, as mentioned before. You can use all drive-by weapons, as mentioned before. You can swap between the gunner and back passenger, which is also shared with the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom. So you'll have a prompt to hold right to go from the gunner seat to one of the back passenger seats, which is nice for being able to restore your health. So I like the strategy they put into that. And has slight protection for the gunner seat, because in the back, it basically covers your whole backside from being shot, which isn't too efficient unless you're being chased by someone in PvP or something. But still nice to have. For cons on the Insurgent Pickup, I was able to come up with 4. One is not as good price-wise as the Insurgent, which is a unique one for this vehicle, and I put a unique one for this one as well, as it cannot be stored, which I can kind of understand with the time that they released it, because back then you couldn't really store anything with weapons on it, I'm pretty sure, legitimately. But nowadays I think it would have made sense. But with the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom, it basically is the exact same vehicle, except one that's customizable and has weapons on it. No bullet resistant windows once again, and then terrible performance, which I only have for this one since it's the worst between the Insurgents, which was like 32nd place in the lap time and like 31st top speed or something like that. The exact numbers for those are in a previous part of this review, by the way, so if you want to know the exact numbers, go to that specific part of the review. And I'm going to stop before we go into the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom, because I just want to say I also wanted to do a VIP work on this review, just like I did with the Buzzard. And I'm going to say that I decided to go with Headhunter, since I feel like personally this kind of vehicle is going to be best for the PvE VIP works. And the best one I could really do by myself was Headhunter. And unfortunately it took almost a whole time in order to get all 4 of the targets killed off. I pretty much had to do them all with proximity mines like I did with the contact mission. So I kind of like commit suicide, sort of. But at least the vehicle didn't completely blow up. They did a good explosive resistance. But regardless, so I don't know, still, yeah, it did pretty poor in terms of VIP work, so this is not going to be the kind of vehicle you're going to want to do for the VIP works, especially the ones that are good for money. One thing I can really say this is probably going to be good for is the VIP challenge, Most Wanted. However, even an armored Kuruma, which is seen earlier in this video, is probably better at that even. But now onto the pros and cons for the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom. The first pro that I have that has an extremely cheap upgrade price, which is the similar one to the normal Insurgent that I was talking about earlier. It also has extremely cheap armor platings. Like, all of them were not even 2,000 bucks. And then it can also be stored, as mentioned before. It comes with 100% armor, as said before. Also, foolproof tires, I've said before. Has great ramming abilities, as said before. Has 3 more seats, as said before. Has better explosive resistance with someone inside. This one is unique with this one, since back during the heist update, the 2 different types of armor, universal and some other kind, did not exist. I think that system first came out with the Duke of Death, if I remember correctly. With GTA Online, obviously not really with the single player, I think it just has general armor for single player. But onto the other pros, we can use all drive-by weapons again, but specifically for no armor in this case. And a new one we have, kind of similar to the last one, is can use all firearms for light and medium armors, as you cannot use throwables with those armors applied, unfortunately. Once again, I can swap between gunner and back passenger. Once again, the one button prompt I've mentioned before has improved protection for the gunner seat, medium, and heavy armors. Medium because it applies the front barrier to the gun. And then heavy applies one to the back as well in replacement for the typical one in the back. And then has an upgradable gun. You don't have to just have the machine gun like you did with the Insurgent Pickup. You can have a minigun as well for a better rate of fire. Which goes into the next con. Minigun has a great rate of fire. And then this has vehicle proximity mines, which are super great when you're by yourself. So it turns into like a duo-only vehicle for the Insurgent Pickup to a soloable, usable vehicle for the Insurgent Pickup Custom, if that makes any sense. As you won't really need anyone on the gunner. However, it's really helpful, obviously, to have someone on the gunner seat as well. I also put as a logical proximity mine user. I put that because for the Insurgent Pickup Custom specifically, there was, specifically for in gun running, they put a bunch of vehicles in the game, such as the weaponized Tampa and the technical custom, for example. Both of those have proximity mines, but if you accidentally use it, thinking that it uses a horn, and forget that you upgraded it to have proximity mines, you would probably end up blowing yourself up. So that's why I put that one in there. And then for the final pro, which there's 18 pros I had for the Insurgent Pickup Custom, by the way. But keep in mind, a bunch of them are shared as well with other models of the Insurgent. It can tow vehicles, which is unique with this one. I mean, you could put like a flat cannon anti-aircraft trailer, or the MOC even, I believe, on the back of it. Have some really serious firepower if you wanted to. And have the friend or friends to do so. And for cons, I was actually able to come up with 9 cons. I don't know if that's good or bad, but first con is has some general explosive, has same general explosive resistance, meaning they didn't change it at all within the custom version from the pickup and the normal Insurgent. Well, it only changes when someone's inside of the vehicle, which doesn't really make sense to me, since why couldn't the researchers in the bunker come up with like some armor plating options that could give it more explosive resistance? Like armor plating on like the hood and whatnot, for example. Cannot use weapons and chassis for the heavy armor, unfortunately. I don't even think it makes sense, because in armored criminal you could do that. There's no bullet resistant windows again. I want to know if any damage resistance armor, like in medium armors, that die just as easily. Cannot use throwables and chassis like medium armors. Unfortunately, again, kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't. Upgradable gun only affects rate of fire, no damage increase. I don't really find it much of an upgrade, to be quite honest. Armors are very cosmetic, because when I would shoot with the medium and heavy, especially with the heavy ones, it would crack the windshield when I shoot the armor. Essential modifications are a lot beyond research, pretty self-explanatory, and then finally, research upgrades. Vehicle upgrades off beyond $1 million paywalls, so you have to have certain like vehicles just to get the upgrade price option. Anyways, that is going to be it for this review and guide video. And don't forget to log in on New Year's Eve or December 31st to claim your free voucher for a one-time purchase of the Insurgent Pick-Up Custom. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed.